Hello, my name is Mandy VanHavermaet, and I am an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up! From Gray Eagle, Minnesota, and I am here today to show you the super sweet card using the Wild and Sweet stamp set. This stamp set is from the 2022-2023 annual catalog. So, let's get started. Okay, we are going to use the big Panda Bear stamp out of there. I'm also going to be pairing it with a couple of the little bamboo sprigs from the Bamboo Beauty stamp set, along with the Sending Caring Thoughts sentiment. All right, so let's get started here. I am going to be using a piece of the new Orchid Oasis cardstock, and this is cut at 8.5 by 5.5, scored down the middle at 4.25. So I'm going to fold and burnish that and set that aside. And I love this color. And I'm going to pair it with a piece of Pear Pizzazz, and I think that color is just so, that color combination is just so beautiful together. And this is a piece that's 2.5 by 4. And then I've also got a piece of Basic White, and that is cut at 3.25 by 4.5. And then I've got a scrap of Basic White, and I've got a piece of Basic White for the inside of the card. Okay, so first things first, I am going to use the Stitched Greenery die. And this die is kind of interesting. It doesn't actually cut, but what it does do is make a really cool pattern on our paper. So I'm just going to run that through my cut and emboss machine here quick. And it makes this really interesting pattern. See, it does not cut the paper, but it does poke it, kind of stitch it. So it makes this really neat pattern, and I thought that that was very pretty. So that is going to go right about in there, and I will attach that down. We're done with that plate. All right, and so now I am going to take my piece of Basic White, and this is again at cut at 3.25 by 4.5, and I'm going to take my big Panda Bear stamp, and I am going to stamp him up, or ink him up, I'm sorry, in Memento ink. And this is going to, I'm actually going to color a little bit of this stamp with a really neat technique using the watercolor pencils. And the watercolor pencils that I'm using, there's two different sets of watercolor pencils in the catalogs, or in the catalog, excuse me. And the set that I'm using is Assortment number 1. So there are two different sets of them in the catalog. And I think they tend to get overlooked, but this is, I'm going to be combining them with the blender pen. I'm not sorry, not the blender pen, the Stampin' Blend marker, the color lifter. So isn't he just the most darling thing? Oh, he's so cute. I love panda bears, and I think they totally get overlooked. All right, so I'm going to let that dry just for a minute, just because I feel better letting it dry for a minute. While I am letting him dry, I'm going to bring in some Orchid Oasis ink pad, and I'm going to use the sentiment Sending Caring Thoughts, and that again is from the Bamboo Beauty stamp set. And I'm going to just stamp that sentiment. I'm going to turn it this way, just like that. Just tap, 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 and just stamp straight down and straight up. I love our foam ink pads. They make me so happy because you just tap, tap, and it's just, they ink up beautifully every time. And so now I'm going to cut that out, and this seems really weird maybe, but I'm using a die from the He's All That set. And I like these dies because there's a lot of labels. They're not necessarily specific to the stamp set. And so I think they're just fun, and they've got kind of a neat texture on them. So I'm going to use this little oval die, and I'm going to do that. And so this is kind of just a thinking of you card, really, just without saying thinking of you, since instead of it saying Sending Caring Thoughts. So cut that out quickly here on the cut and emboss machine. And I believe every one of those dies, in fact, I know every one of those dies would work in the mini cut and emboss machines as well. So there we go. So it's got this kind of neat lip around the outside. So I really like the looks of that. So let's put that guy away before I lose him. We don't want to do that. And I can stick that away. All right. So now I've got my pieces for that ready. So what I'm going to do, now that I've let my black sit here for just a minute, and I like to do that. I don't know that we necessarily need to do that, but I like to just to make sure that that black sits in there just a little bit. It doesn't smear. So now I'm going to take my two pencils. I've got Old Olive and I've got Early Espresso. And I'm going to just quickly, and what I like, I'm going to quickly color the tree in the Early Espresso, and then the leaves I'm going to color in the Old Olive. And a thing I like about the watercolor pencils is you can make them as dark or as light as you want, and they color really fast. And there's really no, and the reason I'm showing you this technique is because I want to show you how it doesn't exactly have to be 100% perfect. Now you can be perfect, and perfect is great. But sometimes our watercolor pencils leave kind of streaky looking things. I don't know if that's really the word, but you can tell which way you're, you know, using your pencil versus this way or whatever, what have you, right? The technique I'm going to show you is going to help hide that. So now I'm going to just come in and color the leaves here quickly with my Old Olive. Just like this. And there's not a whole lot of coloring because the panda itself is black and white, right? So we're just going to leave him black and white. And if you wanted to do more shading behind, you certainly could. But this is a quick and easy card, and I'm just going to leave that this time. No shading behind it, just the regular white background. And I think the card itself turns out so cute. All right, almost done. Just a couple left. All right, oh, a couple up here. All right, so that looks cute, right? But I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Blend, and this is the color lifter. So this would be the color, the one that you use to lift colors up, right? To lighten them up. But when I use it on top of the watercolor pencils, look how fun that is. It just kind of makes it a little bit bolder, blends those colors together, so that you don't see those streaks that you would normally see in your watercolor pencils, right? I think that is just the neatest thing ever. I was so excited when I found this technique. And I think it's going to make me use my watercolor pencils just a little bit more. So it kind of blends it all together, right? And you can see it's made my tip kind of funny colored, but it does not affect the performance of my color lifter at all. So if you would like to, you go in and color your green leaves just a little bit too. Just be careful that you don't push the colors out of the lines too far, but it will make those green leaves just a little bit bolder, which is kind of fun, right? All right, just like that. So our coloring is done. Really quick coloring, right? And again, my color lifter, you can maybe go ahead and take some of it off, but it's going to stain your tip, but it will not affect the performance of it at all. So there's that. All right, let's assemble our card. I am going to grab my Stampin' Seal. I'm going to adhere that down onto the panel of my card. Let's pull that down. There we go. Let's do it even, right? All right. Press that down. And this here, I'm going to do, let's see, just like that right there. And I'm not going to use dimensionals. I'm going to adhere it down with my Stampin' Seal again. Just like that. Oh, I love those colors together. Isn't that just spectacular? I love it, love it, love it. All right, now my little sentiment that I am going to use some dimensionals for. And I swear every time I do a video, I'm almost out of dimensionals on my sheet. I go through a lot of dimensionals, but remember, we can cut the edges. We want to make sure that we use all of our sheet. We don't want to leave any behind. So let's put some dimensionals on. Whoopsie-doo, just like that. Oh, I can't get over how fun those colors are. All right, and I am going to put this right down there, just like that. Is that not the cutest thing? Oh, it's so cute. And I think I need to add just a little bit more, so I'm going to bring in the Rustic metallic dots. These are new in the catalog right now also, and I love the color of them because they're not super bright, but they do add just the right amount of right touch, right? Sometimes you don't want something that's really blingy, really sparkly, but this adds a perfect, it's kind of, it's rustic, right? So there is our card front. Love it, so cute. Okay, and so now I'm going to finish off the inside. I'm going to bring in a Pear Pizzazz ink pad. Move that aside, open that up. And I've got a couple of the stalks of bamboo, and these are from the Bamboo Beauty stamp set again. So I'm going to ink them up. I'm going to stamp off one time and stamp it on there, just because I don't want it to be full bore. That's a lot. That's really bright, or not bright, dark, I should say. And I just wanted it to be a lighter green. So that is that. And then while I've got my ink pad out right now, I'm going to put a little piece of bamboo down in the corner of my envelope. Just like that. And there again, I stamped off because I liked, in my head, bamboo is a little bit lighter than the full green color. So that is that. Let's put this inside of our card. Just like that. Oh, I love that Orchid Oasis. That is like the neatest color. It's not blue, it's not purple. It is just, it's fantastic. All right, so there is today's card. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel so that you can see when I put new videos out. And if you have any questions whatsoever, please feel free to reach out and leave a comment. Otherwise, I will have all the dimensions in the comments or in the description below. So I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.